It is a short example and an explanation of how the Terego ideation method can be used to develop a justified belief, a point of view, about anything, in this case the value of math. What follows is a transcript of an actual session I conducted with teams of 15-year-old and 16-year-old students at Newgate Montessori High School in Lakewood Ranch and also at Booker High School in Sarasota, both in Florida. To begin, I wrote the question in the middle of a whiteboard. You can use a blank piece of paper. The question is, why does math matter? You will see in a moment why it is important to begin in the middle of the blank page or whiteboard. Next, I asked the team what the definition of math is and then answer it. They agreed. Math is a symbolic way to express logic. It is always important to look at the context of the issue under consideration first. So, before zooming in on the subject, zoom out first by asking the team what math is a part of, and of course answering the question. One good answer the students came up with is that math is one way we symbolically represent and communicate ideas. You may have another idea or answer, and that is not better or worse or more accurate or not. The goal is thinking. Zooming out a little further, for still more context, I encourage the team to go up the hierarchy of math one more step and ask, what are other symbolic ways of representing? They caught on quickly and answered language, numbers, music, art, and computer code. They were right. These are all symbolic representations of ideas, just like math. Now I showed them how to take the next steps and interrogate the question of why math matters as deeply as possible. And this means asking and answering as many questions as possible, beginning with the words who, what, why, where, when, and how. We segmented the diagram accordingly. Then the team systematically began interrogating the subject, why math matters. So, who invented math? Who benefits? Math probably evolved from counting. So who invented counting? No way to know. But that doesn't mean not asking. Moving on to the what questions. An obvious first question is, what was math first used for? Measurement is a good guess. Measuring quantity, distance, structure, space, and of course change, and measuring proof that something works. Now for the why questions. The obvious one that springs to mind is, why was math thought to be important? Record keeping for tax purposes and agriculture by recording seasonal fluctuations in weather and floods, and of course for navigation by the stars, and seeing other patterns in nature. Why is math relevant? Well, in a digital age, math rules, and math proficiency determines income. Now for some where questions and answers, and the obvious one is, where did it originate? Some 6,000 years ago in Egypt, and what is now Iraq? And where did it develop? The same place plus Greece and Arabia. Now for some when questions, such as when does math help? Whenever math can help solve problems such as modeling the future. So when was math invented? Surprisingly, before writing. The most obvious how question is, how many kinds of math are there? Pure and applied? How many numerical systems? Bases 2, 6, 10, 12, 16, and 60. How do we use numerical systems? Counting time, length, breadth, and height, the computer cycles, and food. Math is a survival skill, especially now. Now the teams voted for the best answers from among all these answers. Which are the best ones? These are the ones the teams voted for. They collated their 16 best answers. You can read them here. Next, I asked them to get together and link all these answers together with pronouns or by adding words that help them make their case, and they wrote an essay answering the question, why does math matter? This is one of the team's justified beliefs expressed as an ideation, an opinion, a point of view. In quotes. Our earliest ancestors needed to keep track of things even before they needed to write. Applying math skills was a survival mechanism. When agriculture, tax, and trade became part of life, people needed to use applied math to keep track of the past and deploy math skills to predict fluctuations, seasonal patterns, and navigate. Initially, there were many base systems, but decimal and binary made things simpler. We are now firmly in a mathematical or digital age, and keeping track and predicting things is even more of a survival skill. Imagine life in this digital age, and the point is made. Math matters, and those with a skill will outlearn those without it.